Week 13 is here. We went 0-3 last week, which is abysmal. But our record is still above 500. It's 22-21. Hopefully we have a better week this week. We've got some actually pretty good games this week where we have the New England Patriots travel to Los Angeles to face the Chargers. It's a toss-up game. Patriots are going to win. I do like what Justin Herbert is doing. I think he's very Brett Favre-esque, where he can just sling the ball over the place, and I think that's great for the game. But they can't seem to score. In New England, they're coming off a great win against a hurt Arizona team that has played extremely well. They can win this game because I don't think the Chargers can score enough. They're going to win by about a field goal. I think they win 2017. Where the next game is, I think, going to be more of a blow. It's the Broncos versus the Chiefs. Chiefs are favored by 14. Chiefs are going to win this game. And normally, like I would say, this would be a lower score because it's a divisional game. But Chiefs have been dominating, even in that loss against Oakland in the early part of the year. They still scored a lot of points. Where, if you're the Broncos, they just can't. They have a revolving door. We don't know if any of their quarterbacks are really going to play. They haven't played well last week. Chiefs are going to win by, I believe, 28. They're going to win 38-10. And our last game is the Cowboys versus the Ravens. This is a toss-up game because we don't know if Lamar Jackson is playing. If Lamar Jackson doesn't play, they're supposed to have Mark Ingram and J.K. Dobbins back. But that's going to help the Cowboys out because they're only going to really have to focus on the run. And depending on how good RG3 looks, it's going to really depend. But if you're the Cowboys, you know, you want to go out there and try and put your best foot forward because you didn't play well against Washington and you want to just play because you haven't played in a while. You haven't played since Thanksgiving. You want to play. Cowboys can win this game if Lamar Jackson doesn't play, but they're going to win by 1 point. They're going to win 21-20. And since there's only 3 games this week, we have 2 questions. First off, the Ravens and Steelers COVID situation. Now, if you're the Ravens, how does this happen that you get 22 to 25 guys all have COVID? Because your strength and conditioning coach doesn't want to wear his mask. Or doesn't wear his mask, and it went through the locker room. And then if you're the Steelers, how could you not be mad at the Ravens? Because, like, you got to play another team the following week. And yet, you don't know if you're going to do that because you have to play on a Wednesday. Because it got pushed to Wednesday. And then the Ravens' next opponent is the Cowboys. They were supposed to play on a Thursday. That got pushed to a Monday because they pushed the Steelers game back. And then that pushed the Cowboys into a Tuesday because they pushed the Steelers game to a Wednesday. And then Lord knows how many more they're going to do of this because if the Ravens are still having positive tests fly up and down. I mean, one of their guys has type 1 diabetes and he has it, so that's extremely dangerous. So if you're the Cowboys, you're just like, man, we've already taken our bye week. We have to face Cincinnati. Thank God we have two road games moving forward, so we're fine. But if you're Pittsburgh, you're like, wait a minute. They have to fly here. Then they play us. But then at that point in time, we don't know when we are playing. And we don't know how we're going to play. Because we haven't played in a while. And all of the other teams have been playing. We want to play. We want to play badly. But we don't know if we're going to play because Baltimore is having all these issues. Which, I thought it was something to say. Kurt Menefee, who works for Fox, said that we all knew we were going to have a big COVID outbreak probably during this. We just didn't know when. And he was surprised, and a lot of people are surprised, I would say, that we got this far through the season before we had an actual big one. We had some small ones, the Denver situation, the Titans situation, the Oakland situation, the Las Vegas situation, the constant, all over the top situations. But if you really think about, besides the Titan situation, this is like a bigger situation for the Ravens, because 22, 25 guys all have COVID. And my brother brought this up, and I kind of agreed with him on it. New England was forced to play the Chiefs when they had a lot of COVID issues. They were forced. So they had no Cam Newton, and everyone else was sick, and they had to play. Where the Ravens, Lamar Jackson gets sick, and I think they were trying to just push this game off as much as they could to try and get him back. And it kind of worked because Mike Ingram and J.K. Dobbins weren't going to be able to play, and now they're able to play. So it's like they kind of succeeded, but they kind of did not. But that falls into our second question. Where do we go from here? Or what's going to be moving forward? I think the NFL has done a really good job of dealing with COVID because they haven't had a lot of it. They've been really good. The teams have been very responsible and responsive. Besides the Raiders, the Titans, and the Broncos, there's not been a lot of issue. Dallas just had one a few weeks ago, and that was one. Like, that was one, and they sent him home immediately. They didn't let him get into the building. But the Cowboys have a really interesting setup. So it's going to be... moving forward, we hope that we can keep this. It's just going to be interesting during playoff time. Do we move games around? Because that's a very difficult situation to talk about. Because there's so much to go through. You're on a very tight schedule. And with 7 teams entering the playoffs on both sides this year, you're talking another wild card game, potentially another divisional game, and then also, if COVID has been as big as it is, you're talking like another week off in the end of the season because of people won't be able to play in that week that they were supposed to, so they gotta get pushed off into the following week, or they'll push to the end of the year, which doesn't help anybody because they're all gonna be injured or tired. Or if you make the playoffs, great. If you don't, what do you do? Do you say, oh, we'll do what the NBA did, where they said, oh, we're gonna say if you're gonna make the playoffs or you're in the playoff hunt and you need like a week or something like that, or you have a chance to get into the playoffs, you'll play. But if you don't have a chance, you don't need to play because you'll have no chance or it don't really matter. It won't affect anything. But if it affects something, then you're gonna play. But what do you guys think? Has the NFL done a good job on containing COVID, or has the NFL not done a great job with COVID?